Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just jump into it. Let's dive in. I don't even want to waste your guys' time. It is currently about 5:40 a.m., so of course it's a little bit before the major indices do open. We have about like 4 hours until they do open. Overall, I have been watching the indices throughout this week. They have been looking a little bit rough. That is why I do say, while everyone is getting a little bit bullish on Bitcoin right now, I want you to all be aware of the other leading factors within this market. I've talked to you guys about the indices. I've discussed it to you. Yeah, does it look like Bitcoin is decoupling away from indices? Sure, yeah, it does. But the major issue here. Okay, now this is the leading issue. So while Bitcoin's price action does look great, Bitcoin's dominance is ranging around 43%. I suspect that we could hit about 45 to 46% and possibly even higher, depending on how much spotlight does get shined on Bitcoin. But while Bitcoin is ranging around these nice figures that it's at, it is also around resistance. And I want you to all be aware that, yeah, is it good to be bullish on Bitcoin while indices are doing absolutely terrible? Absolutely not, because stocks do loom over crypto. I will say this though, there is a lot of individuals, retail individuals by the way, that are moving their money into things like crypto, like commodities and things like that because they want to escape inflation. They are trying to find a way out of inflation, especially now, as we do hear looming talks about going to war and, possibly, printing more money to fund a war and this and that. I mean, as a typical individual, retail individual, you should be looking for ways to get out. And I do believe that crypto is a solid investment choice, especially if you look at the macro views. I mean, short-term volatility will be a thing. Like, honestly, do I think that Bitcoin is going to have a resistance point where it does have that day where it does pull back and have a correction? 100%. And honestly, even if you look at the 3-month span, you can see where we currently are. I mean, everyone's celebrating, but we are nearing this major resistance point at about 45.5K. So I want you all to be aware of the resistance points on Bitcoin and really kind of pay attention to the, micro view as well. But definitely, stay alert and stay aware of the macro view on crypto itself. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about a few things. So first off, Senator Warren has been, a very massive advocate for attacking crypto. In fact, if you guys did miss it, so Elizabeth Warren basically said cryptocurrencies risk undermining sanctions against Russia, allowing Putin and his cronies to evade economic pain. U.S. financial regulators need to take this threat seriously and increase their scrutiny of digital assets. And we do see Susan Friedman, head of public policy at Ripple. While we understand the concern expressed by Senator Warren, Russia actually faces some pretty big obstacles in their crypto to bypass sanctions. And if you guys did miss this, of course, they have been talking about this for a little bit of time. Brad Garlinghouse has, Ripple has in general. But we do see many folks within crypto, Ripple included, are looking to work proactively with Congress and regulators on smart regulation for the digital asset space. That both fosters innovation and protects consumers. This isn't the Wild West. And the funny thing about this is, and again, when we are talking about James K. Fallon, I love the fact that he did quote this. Ripple's, Susan Friedman responds to Senator Warren. Ripple is looking to work proactively with Congress and regulators on smart regulation for the digital asset space that both fosters innovation and protects consumers. This isn't the Wild West. And I want you to all understand that Ripple has been, I would say that Ripple has been searching and looking for someone to work with them in terms of regulations from not only Congress's side, but just regulators in general. I mean, they're tired of dealing with the SEC. The SEC doesn't understand anything about crypto. They have failed multiple times again and again to even bring up any sort of evidence against Ripple. It's honestly all stifling innovation in the US, and we need something better. We need some sort of individual that is a proper regulator to move in on crypto and look at it from an overall fundamental view, because that's the only way that we are going to get solid regulations in this space. And I do believe that Ripple is fighting day by day by day. Now, the funny thing is that while in the US, crypto innovation is being stifled, I go back to February 3rd, and we do see here Ripple's relationship with global regulators in stark contrast with the US SEC. I would like to say we are friends here in the UK and many places around the world. We are working very, very closely with central banks and government regulators. I want you to all understand that they have been working with banks and regulators for a very, very long time, and they do not care about the US at all. I can assure you that these areas around the world do not care about the US SEC. We do see here the company is happy to say it has cozied up with most, but unfortunately not with the US SEC, with whom it has been fighting in the New York Federal Court that may well define the future of the digital asset industry. And when we are talking about everything that is happening, especially in the UK and Europe, we do see here, this will allow businesses to run real-time payments internationally powered by Ripple's financial technology. RippleNet Modular, offers a payments as a service solution into the European and UK payment rails with access to critical payment infrastructure in the UK, including faster payments and backs CHAPS, SWIFT, and SEPA in Europe. And I want you to all realize that Modular is actually a very large company. I've talked to you guys about them, I believe, in the beginning of February, but to really kind of reiterate and just rehash this real quick, here's Modular and Ripple announced strategic partnership to enable seamless payments in the UK and Europe. Of course, I do believe that this is going to be, something to watch for as well, similar to even, Tranglo. Tranglo continues to innovate with, of course, Ripple. But the thing that makes Modular so incredible, okay? So let's actually go to their website. Let's make sure that everything is refreshed. Sorry, one second. So here we have payments designed by you, powered by us. Here's their operating at scale. 100 billion pounds, 140 million volume of transactions processed to date, 24/7 dedicated customer support. You could read about some of their solutions. Like here's Automate your B2B payment flows. B2B is a huge market. I've talked to you guys about the B2B market in the past. Here we have Embed, put payments at the heart of your platform, workflows and customer experiences. All of these are huge use cases. Here's Launch. You guys can read all about this. I want you to all realize how big of a company Modular actually is. And of course, here are some of their major authorized, regulated, and secure companies that are really behind them. Faster Payments, Bax, CHAPS, SEPA, Visa Ready, and also Avantio. I want you to all see the bigger picture here. You got to understand that Ripple does not care about the SEC. Ripple could easily move their location outside of the US and operate anywhere freely. The reason why they want the US is simply because they want all the money. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we will talk about it in a couple seconds. But first, I want to talk to you guys about a possible liquidity crisis. So here's what Biden's team of amateurs don't understand. Every payment, every trade has two sides. When you blow up one side, Russia, you also blow up the other side. World banking system linkages are dense and immensely scaled. This could be the worst liquidity crisis ever. And also, yes, this is talking more so about SWIFT. It will collapse. I honestly do believe that, SWIFT's days are nearly numbered. And when we are talking about a liquidity crisis, I believe that we will see a massive liquidity crisis. And guess who's going to solve that problem if we do need, to incorporate a network that not only is scalable, but sustainable and massively efficient for cross-border payments, banks in general. Again, it does allow for, CBDCs to be minted on, of course, a private ledger basis on the XRP ledger. It is, of course, Ripple. Okay, we go back to March 20th, 2018. Here is, of course, the Financial Times defines liquidity. This is basically a breakdown of liquidity in general. But this is really talking about a liquidity crisis. This is basically lowering the risk and everything about, of course, a liquidity crisis. If a financial transaction is an engine with moving parts and multiple factors that impact its performance, then liquidity is the oil that makes it move. Good, clean oil in the form of cheap and readily available liquidity means less risk and a faster, smoother transaction. And again, I want you to all realize that when we are talking about the current structure of the financial world, okay, we are in a looming financial collapse. Day in, day out, I watch the numbers being massively inflated. We know that inflation is at a massive 10+%. It is not at 7.5%. You know, you go to the grocery store, you could see the prices, you could see the ever so clear picture being painted before our eyes. I see a massive housing market crash coming. I see a stock market crash coming, and who knows how long that they could stretch this out for. They could stretch it out until 2025. It could be next year. We don't know, but I will say this. I am watching the markets closely day by day because I see the leading factors behind this. We also see our digital asset designed for enterprise use take the place of nostril accounts and offer on-demand liquidity. This is possible because the digital asset serves as a universal currency, instantly and cheaply changing any payment into its needed local currency. This is XRP's use case. This is why I invest in XRP. And last but not least, I want you to all realize the all of the money aspect from Ripple. Here you have it. Listen closely. We don't have to listen to the full 6-minute video, but listen just to the beginning here.
Rather than being an internet system. So we need that internet of value to be developed. And that's what we spend our time working on, is a replacement for SWIFT and correspondent banking. How do you get all of the payment providers, all of the wallets onto ILP? And then how do you use XRP as on-demand liquidity so that all of these providers don't have to keep balances all over the world because the process is so inefficient. We think that's the winning kind of killer app. And then I think last group talked about a Cambrian explosion. Yeah. Then you get that Cambrian explosion.
Well, I think what we're doing and executing on a day-by-day basis is, in fact, taking over SWIFT. In that, we've now signed up, well over 100 banks. Some of the largest SWIFT-enabled banks in the world are now using Ripple's technology. Just last week, we saw a remittance company who's using Ripple's technology. They reduced the price per transaction to their consumers from $20 per transaction to $2 per transaction, and they saw an 800% increase in usage overnight. That's the type of dynamic that SWIFT isn't able to support that we're able to address right now. And that's something we saw just in the last couple of weeks. So we certainly want to see banks succeed in this new world order and take advantage of these technologies. To the extent we can work with SWIFT to do that, then that's great.
And they even said, we will work with SWIFT. But you see that the history has been evidently so clear to all of us. We know that Ripple is outpacing SWIFT day in and day out. We know that they had some of the top tier strategic banks that were on, record with SWIFT already a part of the Ripple network. We know that Ripple is absolutely killing the on-demand liquidity game right now, especially even with Tranglo. Ripple has been building for over a decade now, and they are not stopping. I want you to all realize what Ripple is building here. Here's a nice quote, by the way, and I do have the article open here from this quote, but we do see here, most importantly, we remain more committed than ever to the simple goal of making XRP the world's reserve digital currency. And here you have, February 28th, 2017, Ripple Consensus Ledger can sustain 1,000 transactions per second. Now, of course, I know what everyone's thinking right now. 1,000 transactions per second. Yeah, we're up to I believe it's 1,500 transactions per second currently. But I think that this could do a lot more in terms of transactions per second. But this is all it really needs at its current scale. Of course, I'm sure that they could update this anytime to handle more scale. But I want you to read the last quote here. Most importantly, we remain committed more than ever to the simple goal of making XRP the world's reserve digital currency. It's because they are focused on on-demand liquidity. They are focused on banks. They are focused on running this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. They know the amount of volume that will flow over this network. You got to realize what they are building. This is digital SWIFT. When I talk about RippleNet to anyone, I say, you know what SWIFT is? Maybe some of them answer no. That's totally fine. I understand a lot of people don't know what SWIFT actually is. I explain it to them, and then I tell them RippleNet is basically digital SWIFT, except it's a lot more efficient. It's a lot more sustainable. It's a lot more, it's faster, cheaper. It's more inclusive to those individuals out there that need financial inclusion. This is the future. Okay, and when we are talking about all of the money, I definitely do think that it is a company that could grasp a massive percentage of all of the money because they have been building for this. They have been working towards this, developing. They have been, partnering with major names for years now to make sure that this comes to a reality. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.